I have a theory that most overnight success stories actually take 10 years. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Rochelle Fox, and you are listening to the Mindspo podcast. And this right now is my I Have a Theory series. If you've been following along with these episodes, I want to say thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could go and rate the Mindspo podcast wherever you are listening. If you feel we are deserving of 5 stars, then that would make my day. But one of the things that I am manifesting in 2026 and beyond is really growing this podcast. And the only way I can do that is through you. So every single time you write a review of the Mindspo podcast on Apple Podcasts, or you leave a comment on Spotify, or you just rate us by putting in the 5 stars, I can't even tell you how much that helps me grow the show, grow the production, grow the team, grow the ideas. So I wanted to start today's podcast by putting that out there today, because truly in life, sometimes when you don't ask, you don't receive. This year is the year that I'm a little bit more audacious. I'm putting myself out there more. Now, speaking of putting yourself out there, today's podcast episode is all around my theory that it often takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And this is something that I heard very many years ago. And I was trying to think about when I actually heard this. And I was remembering where I was. And I was actually in the Gold Coast. So I'm pretty sure I heard this back in 2016, 10 years ago. And this concept that I heard was called the 10 dark years. And it was this idea that every single overnight success, every person that you see blow up and become like some big thing, has gone through 10 dark years. These years where they were doing the work, they were pursuing the passion, they were committed to their craft, and no one was clapping. No one was there taking notice, but they just kept showing up. And when you start to look at people that are successful and people that these days we would say, oh my God, that person's killing it. Like, wow, they're such a big deal. Like they're now this like mega superstar, or they're everywhere in the industry. When you really look at that person's background and you go into their story and you really start to dig, more often than not, you will find a pattern that it took them 10 years to get to where they are today. Now, I do want to caveat here, because sometimes when I do podcasts like this, I have a battle inside of my mind. There is the manifestation teacher in me that wants to tell you everything can happen in an instant. You can manifest just like that. Things don't have to take time. Time is an illusion. You just need to elevate your vibration. You need to get in alignment. And when you are in alignment and when you are a vibrational match, things happen instantly. And yes, that is true. However, there is also truth that sometimes certain manifestations for certain people and certain levels of things will take a certain amount of time, because we live in a 3D reality. And I want to talk to you about why things take time. For me, and we're going to use me as an example. I started Mindspo in 2016, which means 2026 is 10 years of Mindspo existing. Now, while this podcast definitely hasn't been around for 10 years, and there are many aspects of my company that didn't exist 10 years ago, the idea and the seed of Mindspo and the first things that we ever did kicked off 10 years ago. 10 years ago is when I launched the Mindspo meditation course, which was our first core offering. And that is kind of what we did for the first few years of this company. And it is now 10 years later that I feel like I'm actually doing the things that I really wanted to be doing. The things that started off on my vision board back then are now unfolding for me here and now, 10 years later. Now, not everything has taken 10 years. There are so many things that happen very, very fast in my journey, but there are some big things and I guess some notable moments that I've always wanted that did take, several years to unfold. And the reason I think things take time is because 10 years ago, I wasn't at the level that I am right now vibrationally. I was starting off in this journey of becoming a personal growth coach and mentor and meditation teacher and whatever you want to call me, whatever label you want to put on what I do. I started this not because I was some super happy, high vibe, perfect person that was full of wellness and had all these great things to say. No, I started meditating in 2012 because I was struggling like you wouldn't believe. I had PTSD, anxiety, depression. I had an eating disorder. I was in such a dark place in 2012. And then after meditating for 5 years and really just being committed to this work, I decided to start a company teaching the things that had changed and transformed my life. And it has taken me quite a few years to heal certain aspects of myself that have allowed me to hold more of my dreams, hold more of my manifestations, that have allowed me to become the person that I am today. And it is through this journey of healing, of growing, of expanding, of reaching my upper limit, and then having another dream on top of that and pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, that I've now gotten to a place where I have a book published with Penguin, which is a major publishing house in the world, and it is translated into 10 different languages. I have an app that's had over 50,000 downloads. I have customers all over the world, and I have a retreats company, and I've done all of these things. Now, all of that isn't something that could have instantly happened. They are things that had to take time. There was a process to be able to, create the things that I have created. I feel like now in 2026 is only when I'm actually really starting to reach the level of success and connection that I had always hoped for. And I'm sure it will continue to grow if I continue to show up and I continue on this mission and on this path. But it has taken 10 years. The last 10 years have been my 10 dark years. They have been years full of mistakes and growth and transformation and highs and lows and wins and losses. And it has been a complete and utter journey. And I feel like sometimes people stumble across my page or this podcast or Mindspo or the app or retreats or whatever it is that you have found from me that brought you to this place. And you think, oh my gosh, like, how did they get to this point here? Like, how did they build this thing? And I'm like, well, it took time. It took energy. It took alignment. It took mistakes. Don't ever judge your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Like, this is my chapter 10. And if you're at chapter 1, like, wow, like, look at where you are now. Imagine where you could be in 10 more years after writing 10 more chapters. Now, I'm not the only person that you can use as an example for this. And I don't even think I'm the best example of the 10 dark years, because it's not like I'm out there as some like mega superstar or anything like that. But it is a trend that I see time and time again. And the reason why I've always loved this idea of the 10 dark years and, overnight successes taking 10 years is when I heard about this back in 2016, when I first started this whole entire company and this movement. It was this thing that rooted in my belief system that I just had to keep showing up, that I had to just keep pushing through, and that if I didn't get what I desired instantly, it didn't mean that it wasn't going to happen. And I think that this is a very, very key thing that we need to remember in the back of our head. So many people have these expectations and these, I guess, wants for things to happen in a certain timeline. And I think expectation is actually a really powerful thing because it works with the law of assumption. If you assume and you decide it is your reality, it will happen. But sometimes it doesn't happen on the timeline or in the way you expect it to happen. But as long as you keep assuming, as long as you stay with the vision, you stay with the dream, and you do not give up and you keep going, you will eventually get there. I truly do believe that. Like in my life, everything that I have stayed committed to and I've decided like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what is going to happen. As long as I've stayed aligned and I've kept embodying my higher self, it eventually happens. Now, I will say, not everything has happened in my life in the timeline I would like it to happen on. That is something that sometimes really frustrates me. And I've had moments, especially in the last year, where I'm like, wow, I was really expecting and I was really assuming that this would happen by now. It probably was because I was putting too much pressure on it. It was probably because I was forcing it too much. I was in some kind of lack somewhere along the way, and I had to clean up my energy. And at the end of the day, manifestation, success, it is all an energy game. So it might not take you 10 years to become a success, but if you've got a lot of things to clear up in your energy, if you're coming from a place of trauma and you've got things to heal and to work through and to grow through and to face and to overcome, that is going to be part of you becoming a success. It is you healing and moving through the things that have been holding you back, that have been keeping you stuck, that are going to actually propel you forward. And I want to give you some examples of this whole entire concept of the 10 dark years and that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. People that you might have heard of in popular culture. Because I really do believe if you were to find someone that you are obsessed with online or that you think is absolutely killing it, especially I feel like in the millennial age group, there are so many people that are kind of reaching the pinnacle or like becoming really popular right now. And people are looking at them being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this person is like absolutely smashing smashing it. And it's like, well, yeah, this person's been uploading on Instagram or on TikTok or doing their podcast or doing their YouTube or just been committed to their email list or their whatever it is, their blog for 10 years. Like they've been going for it. They started this thing when they were like 26 and they've kept going even when they weren't a viral success, even when they weren't getting 10,000 views or whatever the view count is that you have in your head that you think is successful. They've just kept growing. And the same thing is with small businesses. There are so many small businesses that maybe just started, but the person who started the small business, they have had several other businesses before this. They have had years in corporate learning how to build a business or learning from the mistakes of their current employer. Like they have been through these 10 dark years and it's not all publicized. It's not all on their Instagram. It's not all laid out so you can see their actual journey with all of the ups and the downs and all of the things that they've had to go through, but it is there. And I really do believe that if you are someone that is struggling to stay committed to your goals and your dreams and you're wondering like, when is this going to work out for me? Stop listening to the shiny podcasts of people talking about all the wins. Go and find the podcasts and the books and the articles and the raw conversations and the rooms where people are talking about their breakdowns and their breakthroughs, where people are being vulnerable about what it really takes to win, what it really takes to be a success. All of the things that they had to go through, because it's really easy to go online and look at someone's beautiful collection launch or their store opening or their business birthday or whatever milestone it is that they're celebrating. Celebrate that, but don't compare yourself to that. Don't look at the shiny object, the shiny thing, the shiny launch, and then use it as a way to make yourself feel like shit. One of my favorite things that I like to share with my students when they're manifesting and they feel like they keep getting stuck in comparison is it is so important to celebrate other people's wins. I am the biggest cheerleader for other people in business, for other people going after their dreams, for other people's manifestations. I love nothing more than seeing people win. That is why I'm a manifestation teacher. I do not believe you could be a manifestation teacher if you were not excited for other people's success, because the whole entire game of what I do is helping other people win. So I love seeing other people win. I love seeing other people get their roses, get their claps, get their sunshine, get their bag. Like it makes me so excited. I always say on this podcast, I want nothing more than for you to be healthy, wealthy, abundant, and free. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm doing this. But I do know that sometimes it takes a lot to get to this level of mindset that I have, this kind of just program that I've developed over the years. And if you're at the point where you're in that comparison and you're struggling to feel happy for other people because you feel like you are in the dark years and you're seeing all of these people winning, when you see someone else winning, when you see someone else getting their roses, getting their claps, getting their bag, I want you to start saying inside of your head, I celebrate you and that's for me too. Say it with me. I celebrate you and that's for me too. Bring to mind the person that you're comparing yourself to, that's ahead of you, that has the life that you want, that is doing the things that you want to be doing, that makes you feel that twing of jealousy. Bring them up in your mind. Close your eyes if you can. Really see the picture of their success. See everything that makes you feel a little icky. And now put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I celebrate you, and that's for me too. I celebrate you, and that's for me too. That is your affirmation. I have been using this one for years and it helps me so much. Back in the day, I used to get really twingy at certain things, right? I think maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, there was a point in my career where I was struggling with the idea of people winning or getting things that I really desired and me just not getting the things that I wanted in the timeline that I wanted them on. And I wasn't at the level that these people were at. I hadn't done the work. I hadn't shown up in the ways that they had been showing up, but I was expecting the same results, which is kind of crazy when I think about it. I feel like everybody wants the end result, but no one really wants to do the work. And I was one of those people for a little while. So use this affirmation, make it yours, and just keep repeating, I celebrate you, and that is for me too. Now, I wanted to pull up a few more examples of people that put in the 10 dark years. Now, the first one I want to bring up is none other than Mel Robbins. I thought thought someone else in the personal growth space. I feel like a lot of people only discovered Mel Robbins when she brought out the let them theory. That was when she sort of exploded and she was really on, I would say, like the world stage, the Tony Robbins level awareness that she has kind of reached, the catapulted like omnipresence of Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins has been doing this for such a long time. She started her career as a lawyer in the mid 1990s, and that was long before she actually got into personal growth and the motivational space. But I would say like her career as a lawyer, that was really building her up to be able to speak clearly, to be able to have arguments, to be able to be as articulate as what she is. Now, in 2011, she had a TED Talk, and the TED Talk was How to Stop Screwing Yourself Over. And that really kind of laid the seeds for her current career. And it wasn't until her book in 2017, known as The 5 Second Rule, that she actually started to become, I guess, really known in the personal growth space. So now think from 2017 to 2025 and beyond, when she brought out the let them theory, like she has been doing the work. She has been showing up. Like the girl has been on a freaking grind. Like Mel Robbins should be getting her claps. She should be getting her roses. She has continued to show up. Another one that I really like to think about, that's a very recent one, I think is Sabrina Carpenter. I think that woman is a vibe. She's just electric. I love how quirky and fun she is. And her lyrics, the way that she writes, I think that she is really communicating a lot through her songwriting. And she has been doing this for so long. So her career actually began in 2009. That was when she started singing like Taylor Swift cover songs, and she was just in her bedroom uploading to YouTube. Her first official music career landmark was around 2014 when she signed with Hollywood Records and released her first EP. And then she kept bringing out EPs. Like if you go on YouTube and you search Sabrina Carpenter career progression, you will find so many videos where it shows all of her different eras, let's say, all of the different albums, all the different directions that she went in, all of the different styling. And then she eventually has now had this absolute breakout Grammy nominated album, and that all happened in 2024 and 2025. 10 years after her making her official release. And through that whole entire journey, she has reinvented herself so many times. And it is this relentless reinventation, this relentless pursuit of what it is that she wanted to be doing that has enabled her to get to where she is now. And it's interesting because I do feel like some of us need to go on a journey to figure out like what is our actual essence? Like what is it that we are actually trying to bring to the world? And I feel like I really relate to this idea because I have always had like a vision and a dream for what I've wanted to do, but I've had to find my unique essence, my unique source, the unique way that I talk, the unique way that I write, the unique way that I brand myself and I put my ideas out into the world. Like this takes trial, this takes error, this takes like a journey of figuring yourself out. And then eventually when you figure yourself out enough, when you are so embodied in what it is that you are doing and who it is that you are, and you are just showing up as your authentic self without all of the noise, to me, that is really when people start noticing you. That is really when people start feeling that pull towards you. That is when you truly become magnetic. Now, you've always been magnetic. I always say you're always magnetic, but your magnetic force might not have been that strong because when you're just figuring yourself out, you don't even know exactly what it is you're doing. When I have started anything and when any of my friends have started any new venture, it is very rare that it starts at its finest form. It is really this evolution of trying and figuring things out and experimenting that gets you to the end product that then is the thing that people undeniably are attracted to. And you don't have to chase anymore. People are just coming to you because your magnetic force is so strong, because you are being so authentic, you are being so you are being so real. And I also think this comes from not copying other people. In my own career, there have definitely been moments where I can look back and go, oh wow, I was really in my era of trying to be this other person, really trying to be my idol, really trying to emulate them in every sense. And I think that understanding and having a path and inspiration through other people is really useful. But you got to find your own unique source. You got to find your own unique energy and what makes you, your brand, or whatever it is that you're putting out into the world really true to you. because there is only one you. And if you're trying to emulate someone else and just be a carbon copy of someone else, other people are going to smell that because it's not going to be authentic. Now, I want to give you one last person who I think is such a good example of the 10 dark years. And it is actually a personal growth teacher called Vanessa Van Edwards. Now, she is the best-selling author of Captivate and Cues. She's a Harvard instructor, and she is all about teaching people how to become a masterful communicator. Now, and she really blew up because she was teaching all about communication cues. And I remember I found her on the Stephen podcast, and I'm going to link the episode that she was on down below because it was such a good podcast episode and I learned so much. And when I found her, I was like, wow, this girl's amazing. All of a sudden, she was all over my social media feed. She was all over my YouTube. I felt like she was this explosion. I was like, wow, how incredible that she's just blown up out of nowhere. And as I've been following her now for quite some time, this woman has not blown up out of nowhere. She literally just did a post on her Instagram the other day. And I love stories like this because I think it really puts things into perspective, where she hit 1 million followers. Wow, 1 million followers on her YouTube channel. And the caption reads like this: "It took me 18 years of posting a video every week to meet 1 million of you. And it was so worth it. Every post, every video, every photo, every tip. So grateful for you. I promise to keep posting helpful content and support you in every way I can. Thank you for my amazing team for helping me get here." Like 18 years of being consistent, of showing up, of just continuously deciding to post a video every single week on her YouTube. And now she's on the biggest podcast in the world. She's got books that are coming out that are hitting bestseller lists. And there I am doing the thing I'm now telling you not to do, which is being like, wow, this woman's blown up out of nowhere. No, when you really look at people's stories, when you really get into the nitty gritty, there are most likely 10 dark years. Years of healing, years of learning, years of making mistakes, years of doing things when no one else is clapping, and they just keep going. Now, I'm not saying it has to take you 10 years, and I don't want you to be deterred by the 10 years. And I was thinking about this before I recorded this podcast, and I'm like, oh, this is juicy. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if I could time travel back to 2016 and I could say, all right, Rochelle, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be where you are in 2026, but I'm going to give it to you tomorrow. So you're going to skip the 10 years of trying, of hustle, of doing all of the stuff, of all of the mistakes, all of the journey. And instead, you're just going to wake up with everything that you currently have that took you 10 years to accumulate. Would you like that? I would say no, because I have loved my 10 dark years. I have loved my 10 years of figuring it out and learning and growing and the process. And this really does come down to something that I think is, so overlooked. And I know you've probably heard this quote before, but the journey is the destination. Getting there, having the thing, like you get to the end, but then there's nothing else to work for. There's nothing else to, build on. There's no vision. Like part of the fun of this whole entire process of going for your dreams is going through the journey. So my friend, that is today's podcast. I hope that it pulls you a little bit out of the comparison trap. I hope it gives you resilience and faith and trust to keep going. I truly believe that you will be able to manifest whatever it is that you are desiring in your heart of hearts if you continue to align with it and you become a match for it. And that all starts with shifting your identity by regulating yourself, by really doing the work to get in alignment and embody this future version of you. And if you haven't already checked out the Mindspo app and you want support with all of that, so if you want support with a regulation journey, if you want support with an identity shifting journey, if you just want to manifest and become your best self and get the tools that have helped me grow into the person that I am today, you'll find a link down in the description to download the Mindspo app with our New Year's special. It is really where I put all of my best work, all of my best teachings. So if you haven't already, go and check that out. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode. I'm sending you so much love. And never forget, the best is yet to come and you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.